Alright, here we are with another video of a large group of items that came from a estate sale, a recent estate sale. It happened that a gentleman who, I don't think he'd ever been in the military, but he had been collecting a lot of military items, a lot of hunting and camping gear. So a lot of this stuff came out of his basement. No one had been in the house for, I think since he had died. It had been about a year and a half ago. So the basement was full of mice and rats had taken over. A lot of musty items, but musty items, that's where you find the treasures at. So this video here, I went ahead and we're going to split it into two videos. This one here will just cover the Vietnam and newer items, and then I'll also do a second video on the World War II items. So make sure you check out the second video also. And let's get into what we found there. First thing, this is a lightweight rucksack. It's from 1971. I believe 1971 was the last contract year that they did the lightweight rucksacks. This here, very distinct color when you see them. The Aggressor green. I think in the 80s they stopped going with the Aggressor green. They went to the opposing forces for the war games, and that's what that is. That's what this is also. The earliest helmets, they would just take an existing M1 helmet or take a liner and would put this comb on top of it, and that would kind of damage the helmet, put some screws into it. So at some point they decided, coming up with this would just fit right over your existing helmet liner, and so that's what that would be, go with the Aggressor green shirt. This here is not Vietnam, it's certainly something newer, but this is if you collect stuff for War on Terror, all the way back to the 90s. You may be familiar with London Bridge Trading Company. Made a lot of tactical gear that special operations, Navy SEAL, Special Forces, so forth use. And this one here, I think this would go back, I don't know, it may go back to the 90s or early 2000s, but certainly an older pack. Here we got an antenna. I think this went for one of the man pack radios. We've got a pair of jungle pants. These would be the pre-ripstop cotton poplin, probably from about 1966. We've got the 5-quart canteen. Here we've got, it's kind of a neat thing. It's a boonie hat, would have been made over in Vietnam, made out of poncho liner material. And you always see a lot of this black material on hats and things that were made over in Vietnam during the war by tailors. So kind of a unique in-country made piece. We've got a sheath for jet pilot survival knife. No knife, but a sheath. Here we've got, this would be the ARVN rucksack with the X-frame. I also use the X-frame on the tropical rucksack. This one here I don't think was ever used, but as I said, sitting in that basement, start getting a little bit of corrosion or something on most of the buckles. We've got some different pouches. This one I thought was a little unique. It says small arms case, and I hadn't seen a pouch quite like this one. Doesn't mean it's really worth anything, it's just a little more unique from what I'd seen. Here we got a pouch for a couple of magazines. This would be like a post-Vietnam, probably like late 70s compass pouch or first aid pouch. And we've got the shell for the M51 Arctic cold weather pants. If I could say that correctly, that would be nice. Here we've got a vest for the 40mm grenade launcher ones. And the Vietnam ones, or at least the earlier ones, will have plastic on the snaps here. This one is just the more standard metal ones, and I find it hard to tell the difference between the plastic ones and the metal ones. This one here is from 1973. Let me see, it's got a spent shell in it. And these, they're not worth a whole lot, but I think they were neat because they're still new in the bag. They're from 1966, just spare parts bags. And we got a pair of the M19 binoculars. See a lot of people saying, oh, these are Korean War. You look on eBay, there's people selling these as World War II and Korean War and Vietnam, but it was like in the late 70s when they first started delivering these to the Army. It's more of a late 70s into the 80s kind of deal. But still, an interesting find. And we've got the M61 butt pack. Got a Claymore bag. We've got a SV1 survival vest. On this one here would actually be from the 50s. As we see, it says U.S. Navy, but it also says Bureau of Aeronautics, which was replaced in 1959, so we know that this one would be 1959 or older. This here's be like a 1980s woodland camo flak vest. Here we've got just some suspenders, another M61 butt pack. We've got some field gear here. Some of these pieces on here from the 60s, some are from the 70s, like the canteens from 69, but then I think like this one's, you know, probably late 70s, so just a mixture of that. We've got a strobe light, distress marker. I think this one's from 1981. We've got another ARVN rucksack. This one here is missing the X-frame that would go on. I've got a set of, even though these are post-Vietnam, they were made by Tiger Stripe products, and these ones were from 1987, so these were like the first ones that they did, and they kind of based them off of the design of some of the Tiger Stripe that was actually worn in Vietnam, with the pancake buttons and some of the pouches or pockets that they would put on them. So there is a market for these. So if you see the older 1980s Tiger Stripe product stuff at a sale, you want to pick that up if it's a good price. Here's just a regular pair of ERDL pants. This would be kind of like a Desert Storm, the Night Desert Parka. Here's a signal panel, and this one, even though I think they're still using these, or they've just recently done away with using them, but what I liked about this one was that it's from 1963, so it's one that could have potentially have been used in Vietnam. We've got like a Vietnam era individual survival kit. This is part 1. Didn't find part 2, but part 1, that's something. Here we've got the helmet. I think is actually World War II, but then the liner is more Vietnam, set up for airborne unit. And so that covers the Vietnam to more recent items. As I said, I'll be doing a second video to cover the World War II items, so you'll want to definitely check that out. A couple of unique pieces in that. And I hope you've enjoyed seeing these estate sale finds. If you have, I encourage you to subscribe and like the video. And also be sure to check out, I've been putting up photos of a lot of items I found on Instagram. So be sure to check the Instagram page. I will put a link to that down below. As always, thanks for watching.